All right, welcome everyone. It's Chris Petri. Thanks so much for coming by. We're going to do a beautiful flower painting. Let's get started. We're just going to look at the painting quickly here first. So I'm going to remove some of these brushes here. We're going to actually key in on doing a quick, loose, fun pencil drawing, contour drawing to start. Once we have that contour drawing in, we always mention too, it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're doing flowers. Flowers are very, very intricate, so let's not try to overthink things too much. Get the drawing as best you can get it, but try to do it rapidly. Try to do it within maybe 15, 20 minutes at most. Get that drawing in, have some really fun, free-flowing lines of your flowers. Work through your painting, take a trip through your painting. Just remember, contour drawing is basically just taking a trip through your painting. You start in one place and you just start drawing, and you just keep moving through your painting, following the shapes as you're looking at them, whether it's if you're looking at some real flowers in front of you, or if you're looking at a painting in a book, or you're using a photograph, whatever it is. Keep your eye on the subject matter, and then you look back at the painting, you look back at the picture, back at your drawing, picture, drawing. You keep going back and forth and just try to get the idea of the shapes that you're seeing. It always helps too if you do a preliminary sketch where you very, very lightly just get the idea of where things are in your picture frame. So here we have a rectangle in the vertical position here. So I went right in and did the drawing, but I have a lot of experience and many years of experience, so I can sort of just right away look at it and say, yeah, I need to make my picture this big and my flowers are going to be about here, and I can just start and go in and do it. If you're just starting out, or if you're maybe, have a couple years under your belt of drawing and painting in watercolor, you might need to just pull back a little bit and say, let me do a preliminary sketch first, which is essentially just taking a very light pencil line and just making sure you have your vase here, your picture, the right size. It's about half the size of the paper. And then the other half of your size of your paper is actually your flowers up here. Once you have that, you're pretty much home free. You have the idea of half the painting is the picture, half the painting is the flowers. There's a little bit of table underneath, so there's some room for the table here underneath the picture, so you need to leave a little room for the table there. Other than that, it's pretty much straightforward, and then you go in and you do your contour drawing. And then after that, we just remembered that we mixed all our colors first. We looked at our picture or photograph, whatever you're working from. If you're working from my painting, you'll be lucky. You can just use the same colors. I tell you each color I use, I mix it, I put it all here in the palette to start. Then we go in and we just start painting and getting all of our colors on. And we add some more colors to mix more if we need to add more colors to, continue making a purple, and we ran out of purple here a couple times, but we just go back in and grab our purple. So we'll discuss all this in the video. We'll go over all the details of this painting for you, and I'm sure you're going to have this painting done beautifully in the first go, in the first try. If not, you try it a second or third time as much as you need to, but I think you'll be able to get a good painting in the first try by just following the video first, watching it full through, and then maybe you come back a second time and you work with me and stop and start your video as you're going through to kind of, give you, your sort of guidance as you're going through the painting. But it's not difficult. This is a really beautiful and fun painting to do, and it's, again, not tremendously complicated at all. It's just really having fun and getting some really beautiful colors on the paper, and then the rest is just you having fun as an artist, and you can put your own twist on things if you want to as well. Different colors maybe, or maybe doing things a little bit differently, however you want to do it. It's you're the artist. You can adjust your paintings the way you like to. But I definitely know you're going to have fun with this, so let's take a quick second to take a break, and then we'll come right back and we'll start our pencil drawing. All right, we just saw the finished painting, and now we're going to get started, and we're just going to go through the progressions here, the process of painting some loose flowers. These are going to be some white irises, and no need to worry. Just the thing here is I'm working from a photograph online on the internet, and it does say that it's copyright protected, so I can't really show it on screen. So since we just saw the finished painting, hopefully you can hit pause on the beginning of the video. Once you've watched this video full through, then you can go back to the beginning and maybe hit pause so you can do screenshots or screen captures of the picture as well on your electronic device, your phone, your iPad, your desktop computer. So there's lots of ways you can do this. You can take a picture of it too. So if you can somehow take a picture of it with your phone or a camera, you can take a picture of this painting too as well and work from that. So I'll leave that up to you. You're the artist. We're all working now in the information age and technology age. So we're all using our technology the best we can. And so let's get started here. I'm just going to do a very simple vase. And I'm going to taper it up like so. Like this. And so I'm just going to get the drawing in like this. So I'm hoping you can see this. This is the bottom of the vase. Okay, now we'll start getting some stems in here, going up into the flowers. I'll do some flower shapes. There's a couple. And I'm just contour drawing what I'm seeing in front of me. So that's all I'm really trying to do is trying to contour draw what I see. Okay, so I'm contour drawing, which means I'm just taking a trip through the painting with my pencil lines, and I'm just looking at my subject matter on the computer here, and I wish I could actually show you the picture, but again, I can't really, it's copyrighted, so. And there's some and then here we'll do some background information. There's maybe a wall back here, and there's maybe I think there's a picture on the wall here. Like that. And then over here, there's a small milk pitcher there, and then here is a coffee cup. Okay, and then we have some lines here, just some shadowing. There's some shadowing over here on the wall, so just trying to get some shadow shapes, and that's about it. So I'm going to try to just do a little note taking on the painting here where there's some interesting shapes. But I think that's about it. We're going to leave lots of white paper. We have our vase in, we have our flower shapes in. We didn't take a ton of time. You can kind of tell I just did my contour drawing. I started in one place and just started taking my trip through the picture, through the bouquet of flowers. I was taking a journey through the bouquet and just following all the shapes I was seeing in front of me. So that's just, you know, a practice thing. You know, practicing contour drawing is just you take whatever subject matter you want, fruit, cups, bowls, saucers, milk cartons, pencils, flowers, cars, buildings, whatever you want. You just take your subject matter, start in one place, and just work from there and kind of try to stay, develop your subject matter close as you're working, and then you work out into the painting. As you finish one area, then you start to contour draw out into the other areas like I did here. And I think that's a pretty good flow that I have there, a good rhythm to this. And let's take a break, and then we'll come back in just a few minutes and we'll start painting this. And we're going to do it very fast, very free, very fun. That's one thing about this exercise and this composition I'm hoping you'll do is try to get the contour drawing done quickly. Get in there and just get your pencil lines going and get the vase in and then start working in the flower shapes. And then you can get in your other, there's a painting on the wall here, and there's this coffee cup here, and then there's a small cream, a pitcher for cream, let's say, or milk. And then we pretty much have it. So I'm thinking this is a really good composition to practice, just getting in the drawing efficiently, quickly, having fun with it, enjoying the shapes of the flowers, not being too overly concerned. If it's perfect, it doesn't need to be perfect. Once we start painting, it's going to be a beautiful conglomeration of colors and shapes and tonal values, darks and lights and white paper, and all these cool things are going to happen when we're painting. So the drawing portion is not all that critical. As long as you can get your drawing halfway good, halfway decent, you're going to be fine because you're going to be painting, and that's all going to be the exciting part of this. The pencil drawing is just your sort of like your blueprint that you put on your paper first so that you know when you go in and start painting where you need to paint your colors and your shapes and where you're going to make your darks and your lights and so forth. So it's really like your roadmap and your blueprint as you go into your painting. That's all it is, your drawing. So your drawing doesn't have to be perfect, you know, because there's going to be so much exciting stuff going on your paper. That's the great thing about watercolor. The pencil drawing, yes, we have to learn how to draw and practice our drawing skills, but the exciting part is when you're in there painting, you can change things when you're painting, and your paint and the water and all the exciting colors, it comes to life, and it's almost like the pencil lines and the drawing kind of take like a very backseat role according to the overall look of the painting. You might see some pencil lines here and there, but just a thing to think about is, the pencil lines, the drawing is important, but it doesn't have to be perfect at all. And once you start painting again, that's going to be the real exciting part, all the colors and the darks and the lights and the sparkles of shadows and lights going on here and there. So let's take a break and we'll start painting just in a second or two, okay? All right, I'm going to purposely go fast now, try to work rapidly with a good rhythm, a good tempo through this painting. I'm going to try to actually do this with one brush if I can. I think I'm going to use my Raphael brush. It's a number 6, Raphael Kolinsky sable brush. I'm going to pre-mix my colors first. So one of the keys to working quickly, and we're going to try to work on this one really quickly, is to kind of look at the photograph or the art book or the if you're working out like if you're working plein air where you're actually setting up a vase of flowers in your place and you're going to work from that. However, whatever you're seeing in front of you, let's do this. I'm going to try to mix all my colors first before I go in and paint, if I can. I'm going to try to get all of them in the palette and all ready to go. And then once all my colors are in here mixed on my palette for the most part, then I'm just going to go in and try to really paint this fast and rapidly with a good rhythm. Just keep working and working and working and working and work through the painting. And that'll really look great. That nice, good pace of a painting really shows and shines through when someone's looking at your artwork and they see that you've gone through your painting rapidly with excitement. So let's have that exciting, rapid look to this painting if we can. Let's try to do it. Let's see how we make out here. All right, so we're going to go in and start, when I'm looking at a photograph or a painting in a book or anything like that, I'm going to look for the predominant color that I see. That's the first one I'm going to tackle and say, all right, let me get that one. That's purple. So let me get that started. So there's some ultramarine violet. So I'm going to get that into my palette, and I'm going to mix some good amount of water in there, and I'm going to get a lot of paint. I'm going to get lots of paint in there too, so you can kind of see I've got lots of paint in there. Then I'm going to add a little bit of raw umber to that to grate down just a touch. But I'm not going to homogenize it and really stir it and stir it and stir it. I just added a little touch of raw umber in there, and that's going to be fine. Then I take my brush and kind of press it on the side of my palette so that the paint empties out into the paint well. Now the next color, I'm going to say the predominant. So this is the dominant color, and then how about, what's the next color I'm seeing? Okay, blue. I think cerulean blue. So I'm going to take a bunch of cerulean blue and down this here on this part of the palette. Let me get lots of cerulean blue in there. That's kind of be, this might even be the predominant color in the painting. It's a tie between purple and cerulean blue, I think. So let me take some of that purple too and kind of get that in there. Okay, so lots of cerulean blue mixed in with a little purple there. Maybe let's go with a little, what is that there I'm seeing? Maybe a little bit of the rose madder, or that's actually alizarin crimson. Like that. Okay, so now you're seeing I'm getting all my colors on here. Then over here, green, sap green. That's really with some raw umber. Sap green and raw umber. And again, I'm olive green too, maybe a little bit, raw umber. That looks pretty good. And then there's, what else do we have? A little bit of raw sienna over here. So you can always take a little spot for just a little bit of something that you see in the painting. So I'm going to put some raw sienna over here, like that. And now I think I have mostly everything in the palette. There is a little bit of cadmium red over here. So I'll put that over here, just to remind me I need to use some of that too. And I think we have most of it. And a little bit also burnt umber up here. So I'll put a little bit there. And again, some more raw sienna. Here, maybe a little yellow ochre. Okay, so that's the colors right there. All the colors are out. Again, we did the ultramarine violet, purple. We just added a touch of raw umber in there just to kind of mellow that out a little bit. Then we added some alizarin crimson over here with some of this purple too, just a little touch of that. Green, sap green, and olive green. A little bit of burnt umber over here up top. Then we came down here and we said lots of cerulean blue with also a little touch of the purple, ultramarine violet, mixed in with the cerulean blue. There is a touch of red in the painting, a little bit of the cadmium red, so we put that there too. And then we have some raw sienna and some yellow ochre right over here too. So those are the predominant colors of the painting. The real, those are the colors we need. So now we have everything in here. We can just go in and really try to get our painting started. And I'm going to make that a little darker. Like that. And I noticed that my brush doesn't have a good point on it. I think I've worn the point off this brush. So let me find another brush that's going to be similar. Let me see. This looks pretty good. This is a... that's not going to work. This one might work here. Okay, this is a travel brush, a Da Vinci Maestro travel brush number 10. And again, the brush point is not so good on this one. I guess I've used my brushes so much that most of them, the points are all worn off the brushes. Also, the paper wears out the brush tips. So we're going to just keep going here. So you can see I'm using my Da Vinci Maestro. This is a number 12, I think. And I wore the 10. It's a number 10 Da Vinci Maestro. Klinsky sable. So and I'm trying to get these mixing a little bit and I think what might have happened is I think I might have put a different purple in my palette. This purple doesn't really look like my ultramarine violet purple that I use by Winsor Newton. I think I might have added something else different in here. This one's not working as well as I thought, so I think that's why. And I'll take some burnt umber too with a little water, and I'll sort of gray down some of the purple here. And again, I'm trying to paint rapidly if I can. So there's going to be some darks in here like this. Then I'm going to start working in some greens. I noticed there's some greens in here. Like that. I'm leaving white papers. Do you notice how I'm leaving lots of white papers in this area? Like I'm not just painting and filling everything in. I'm leaving some white paper here and there. That's important to remember. Okay, so that is my leaf forms here. Maybe I'll get a little bit of the yellow like that. Maybe make it a different. Like that. I'll make this. I'm going to splash a couple splashes there just to loosen up a little bit. Okay, and that's like that. And then we're going to go back in. Purple. We need more purple over here. There's going to be some white flowers too. So I'm trying to keep with my rhythm idea. I'm going to keep trying to just move quickly through this. Again, if I'm moving quickly and rapidly through this, that is really going to make the painting look beautiful. No question. And there's some cerulean blue. Yeah, if I can move through this kind of quick. And again, I've practiced a lot of brush exercises over the years, so I can really move quick with my brush and get a lot of brush strokes in quick. But this does look good when we go in quick and fast. Okay, there we have some red. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so we get a little bit of that interesting red color there. That's a painting that's on the wall here in the background. And then maybe I will add some interesting color there. And let's keep going here. More purple. A little bit of raw umber in that purple just to... And then let's see if I can keep working here rapidly. Okay, there's some purple flowers up here, like that. And I'm doing some pretty wild splashing here to have fun. Do have fun with your paintings. Don't let them get the best of you. And like that there, you see a smudge happen like that. You can either get really mad and start getting frustrated, or try to see if you can just, there we go. Sometimes this will work, sometimes not. There we go. So I just added water to that smudge and then wiped it off with a paper towel firmly. My friend gave me this watercolor paper, which is Hannah Mule paper. So I just never tried this before. This really looks like it's working beautifully. The paper really is nice paper, beautiful paper. It's a 140. So I'm going to start. And I would okay, so I'm just getting some of that background color in. And let's get some more sap green, a little bit of that yellow. Let's do this here. And this here too as well. And I got to be careful over there. So I stop a little bit short of this area that I just painted. I don't want to start painting that green into this area that's all damp and wet there, because that's going to then start to flow out and it won't look too good. So I'm kind of always aware of where the paper is damp and wet, where I just made a wash. So I can keep working though. I don't have to stop. And I'll use a little bit of raw umber and green here. And again, I'm not painting in everything. I'm kind of leaving some white paper here and there. And then maybe some yellow ochre over here. So I'm going to do some of the centers of the flowers there, like that. And these are cerulean blue. So I'm going to try to add cerulean blue here with a little bit of that yellow ochre kind of mix. On these petals, these are the white irises over here. And I'll do this over here. So I'm going to leave lots of white paper there. And then I'll put the center of the flower there. And again, this is very damp over here, so I'm not going to work over there. I'm going to let that dry. This is like when you start to think about taking a break. If you're starting to have that feeling of like we're trying to be careful not to work in other areas that are still wet. So this is very wet and damp over here. We can't go back over there and work. We really don't want to work anymore over here because all these washes here are all damp and wet all through this area here. So now we can start working down here on the vase. So let's do that. And I'm just going to get some color on here. Like so. And then add a little bit of some of the gold colors, so you have blues and then some gold mixed in there, warm and cool everywhere. And then I'll put some background here, some more of the blue there, and then let me add some blue shadow here. Maybe we'll make this cup we're going to make this cup white, so we'll put some shadow here where the cup is, like that. We'll put some shadow here too. Some shadow here. Okay, so we're just going to get some shadows in underneath our So I'll lighten up that side of the vase, darken this side, and there might be some other light bouncing around here. But you can already see that I'm working rapidly here. And I'm trying to mix colors around so that everything looks good. Everything is looking, color mixes everywhere so that all the colors are harmonizing together. We're almost done actually. And there's some more shadowing over here. Somehow there's some shadow on the wall there. Don't ask me how that happens. And over here too, we have some more greens. This is a leaf form there, like so. And another one there, we could put in something like that. And I think this is really, again, we painted this rapidly. Look how good it looks. It looks fresh, fun. We have some splashes in there. You know, if you don't like splashes, you don't put them in. Of course, you're the artist. Your art is your own expression of what you enjoy, what you like to do. I like splashing. If you don't, leave that part out, you know, and adjust it accordingly. Do whatever you like with your painting. So this is looking good. I find that I might need to just do a little work over here once this dries. This might need some more purple over here and here. So I need to touch up this side right over here. Other than that, everything else looks pretty good. All right, let's take perfect time for a break. I'm going to take a break, grab a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back and we'll finish up here. All right, wow, hey, we're finishing up, everybody. We're finishing up here, and you can kind of see now the paper has dried quite a bit. This is all dry to the touch here. There are some areas here where I put a lot of paint and water, so there are some wet spots here and there. I got to be very careful not to lean into those or anything like that. But I think the areas around here are pretty dry, the outer perimeter of the painting. And I did say we wanted to work a little bit over here with some purple. And so the thing I can see here, taking a break, we just took a break, of course, and I also mentioned too, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's the buttons right here on the right-hand side down below here. It says subscribe below on the screen for YouTube, and all that does is basically just when you subscribe, whenever you open up your YouTube application, the next time you might open up a YouTube after this video, you might wait a week or two, and then you'll open up your YouTube application again. You'll just see my videos there. So YouTube will put those in your queue, in your YouTube channel, when you open up your YouTube channel, your own personal application on your phone or your computer, it'll just show my videos and say, hey, Chris has made a new video. So it just alerts you when I'm making new videos, and that's all it is really. It just alerts you that I've created another video or two since the last time you were here visiting with me and we were painting together. So that's all that is really. And I always mention too, if you want to give a thumbs up if you like this video, I really appreciate the thumbs up. That helps my algorithms on YouTube. So let's take a look now. We just came back from a break again. So when you come back from a break, you look at your painting and you say, oh, you know what? I think I see some things here that I can improve upon. It's almost done, the painting, no question. We're almost completed here, but can you see anything here that seems to be a little bit off, that maybe doesn't look the greatest? There might be a few things in your judgment. I would totally, I respect everybody out there. You're all artists out there, and you're looking at my paintings. And if you have some critiques about my paintings, that's fine. That's good. It's always good to look at other people's artwork and be critical of it, and maybe see some things you would like to do differently than maybe I'm doing, and that's fine. And you're going to do your paintings the way you want. You might not like splashes, so again, you might not do splashes on your painting, or you might not like to, let's say, paint as loosely as I paint, where I go pretty fast and, I don't maybe paint in all the areas maybe where the pencil lines are, things like that. It's up to you, but I do see a little bit of a, kind of like a glaringly obvious thing as I'm coming back and looking at this painting. I'm saying, tell me if you can kind of notice this too when I mention it. You notice how there's all these darks here, the darker tonal values, the darker greens, the dark purples here. And then as we get down over here, you don't see many darks. Maybe here in the cup, the coffee cup here, that's a little bit of a darker tonal value there. You can kind of see that. But all through here, there's some middle tones, but there's none of the, see how we have these darks here? So we're going to need to add darks here down below. In these shadows possibly, and in some areas, just to kind of give it that tie-in. So we don't want to have just darks in one place, like darker tonal values, rich, exciting, intense colors up here, and then down here we're just kind of having a lot of medium tonal values and lighter washes. Does that make sense? So let's do that. Let's key in on that and say, all right, we're going to finish up this painting now. The next 10-15 minutes is all we need. We'll finish this. But we do remember, as we're doing this now, as we're starting up again for our final touch-ups to the painting and completing things, that we got to get some darks down here. That's the main thing. We can't forget that. And then we also know we have to add some other colors here, so some more purple over here. So I'll go in and get some purple. Let's do that first. Purple, and then a little bit, again, we were using that little bit of raw umber to mellow out that purple. And let's see how that looks. That looks good. And a little bit more purple here. Like that. There's a little bit of purple there. That looks good. Now let's take that same purple. Might as well. Let's add some of that in the shadow areas here. Right? Does that look good? Yes. And let's do it over here. So now we're doing our darks down here, like we said we had to do. Remember we kind of just mentioned that? Yes, let's get that in there. And over here too. Now you can kind of see how these darks here are balanced with these darks, the darker tonal values. If you squint your eyes and you look at the painting and you squint your eyes a little bit, you can see the light white paper, and then you can see the darker tonal values over here of all these beautiful greens and purples in the flower arrangement. So since we have a lot of those darks up here, darker tonal values, we should add them down here. And by golly, we're going to add them down here. And then I just blend those up a little bit, like so. And then I do that. Then I just take a damp brush and carefully blend that. We're doing a graded wash right here, which is just blending the dark over to the lighter over here. Then I rinse my brush off again, clean, fresh, clean water, crystal clean water. And there we have it. And you can even go in with some darker darks here, burnt umber, raw umber, and purple. Maybe a touch of burnt umber. And maybe a few spots of dark there. And then maybe a little bit under here, there might be a shadow under there like that. And then let's get some I might add a little more color like that there, maybe here too. Maybe let's add a little red there. And I tend to like to do that. Since we have some red up here, why not add some red around the painting? And some blue, some cerulean blue here, like that. And what that does is it kind of just gives an exciting look to the painting where you have some additional colors. Maybe some raw umber down here. I'll add another bit of dark here, maybe some red too. Maybe some more cerulean blue there. So again, I wanted to add some really exciting color and darker tonal values to this area, the bottom area of this painting, to balance up here, because we have all these, again, these rich, beautiful dark purples and greens and reds and blues up here. And then down here we were a little bit lighter. We didn't have as much color and excitement, so that's why I added that in. And I think at this point we have a good, fresh looking painting. Lots of color. Exciting color. Maybe I'll add a little bit of blue there. And again, I'm just adding this blue here just so that we kind of see the edge of the picture a little bit. The vase, that's actually a picture. We're using it for a vase here in this painting. Just so that you can kind of see the edge of that a little bit better. Maybe we'll do the same thing. We'll get some purple over here and just maybe and make a little bit of a color change there so that we see that edge there too a little bit. So these are lost and found edges. We talk about lost and found edges in watercolor. Sometimes you're going to have edges that blend, like right here. You see that? That all blends together. This blends together here. This is a lost edges here. This is a little bit of a found edge there. So we're going to make some found edges by adding some color. So all we have to do is add a little bit like that. Color, a little bit of blue, cerulean blue, and then that becomes a found edge. And then the rest up here is a lost edge. Up here, this is a lost edge. It kind of blends in, looks good. It looks like it's, you know, we have a blending of lost and found edges, which kind of give it a nice feel of three-dimensional quality. Like that. And there could be some green. I think some green looks good down in here too. So I'm going to add some green there, because we have green up top. In the painting up here, we have greens up here. So let's make sure we get some greens. A little bit everywhere. And that's where you can just do these little bit of extra brush strokes and adding a few little extra mixes of colors to kind of harmonize everything all together. And again, we talk about variety of colors, lost and found edges, right? So we have hard edges here, all through here, hard edges, white paper, dark purple, light paper, that's found edges. Then we have lost edges down here where you have the picture kind of blending in with the background a little bit, with the shadows in the background. And then you have here some lost and found edges with these, with this milk container. And also here, the coffee cup. We have some lost and found edges. The bottom of the cup kind of melting into the shadows, as well as the bottom of the pitcher melting into the shadows of that. Lost edges. These are lost edges where you kind of blend those in. And then I just splash and put a couple more shadowy shapes here on the table. Those will be, that's from up top. Maybe some of these. You have some shadowing across here. And I think that's perfect. It looks to me like it's a completed painting. We accomplished what we wanted to. We said, when we came back from our last break, we said, hey, look at all these dark purples and greens, very powerful, you know, more like your darker darks in the painting, but we didn't have any darker darks down here. We didn't do any darker washes, so then we did our due diligence here. We added our darker darks at the bottom with our shadows, and we added in some exciting colors, some color variety of colors. We added more. We could take a little bit of titanium white paint, and maybe once this dries, we can add a little bit of touch of white paint on the top of this pitcher, milk pitcher here, to recapture that white on the top there. I kind of painted over that. That's where you can use some white paint if you want. And then up here, we could maybe touch up this maybe a little bit with some white paint. But other than that, I think everything else looks fine. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm glad that everyone here is having fun on this channel, working with our drawing and painting and watercolors. I know all of you are making great progress. There's no question that you are. Many of you have sent in photographs of your paintings. They look absolutely wonderful. Some of you, have made huge progress, and I just I'm so happy that you're taking advantage of YouTube by coming onto my channel and sharing your ideas, your thoughts, your comments in the comments section, all your gracious, kind comments all the time. Everyone is always, saying so many kind things in the comments section. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That gives me, excitement to want to paint more and create more on YouTube. And so until we meet up again and draw and paint together, we'll see you, and happy painting, everybody, and enjoy the journey, okay? We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.